Hello, everyone. You're watching The Film Whisperers here on Ben TV, where two film nerds talk all things movies with a contemporary lens. My name is Saj.
And my name is Matt. Yeah, we've been talking about the very white and very boring top movies of all time list on IMDb's website. So we were looking at kind of the top 20 or so movies on IMDb's best movies of all time list and noticing that there was kind of a common theme amongst them all, and that they all kind of almost all focused exclusively on straight white men, and we're not very diverse at all. So it was hard to kind of pick some good ones from that bunch, but we managed to. But I guess now we should, I mean, there's probably too many to pick from now, but we should, talk about the ones that we don't like as much, or that, we don't feel should be on that list. So yeah, Saj, for you, what would you from the top 20? Like, is there one in particular like that doesn't deserve its place on the list? I don't know why it's there, and there may be more than one, but what would be your top pick?
Okay, so as voted by the people of IMDb, the number one film, according to this list, which is considered to be, I guess, the highest rated movie of all time, is Shawshank Redemption. And that would be my pick for the worst.
The people of IMDb are going to be coming for you, all those people.
I know, yeah, yeah. Well, so with the Shawshank Redemption, I managed to see it for the first time about 2 years ago because someone who I work with, he challenged me and said, give this film a go, you like it. And I didn't, to be honest. And I then very soon found out what a loved movie this is. And apparently there's a lot of people. Apparently footy players, when they're asked what their favorite film of all time, they say The Shawshank Redemption. Look, I don't know. I'm lost for words. It's really just a meh film. I think the First Class Club should be number one rather than that. A film that actually just shows about female empowerment rather than this it's a prison escape story, for Christ's sake. Like, I don't know. I definitely maybe number 99 on the list we probably should be instead rather than number one. Anyway, look, I guess that's why we need more diverse voices with people who vote for these things. So anyway, enough about that. I feel like I'm such a angry person today, Matt. But let's go to Kiri. What would be your worst?
Oh no, I was just gonna say, I think that this IMDb list is enough to incite anger, because it's just like, I mean, surely if you were to survey a more wider group of people, so like diverse groups of people and stuff like that, I don't think the list would look the same. Like, I guess, there's, I think white American people, white American men in particular, this might be their ideal top 20 list. But I think if you actually were to survey a more kind of diverse group of people around the world, that wouldn't actually be the top 20. So yeah, it's interesting that was number one. I actually remember watching that at school. We had to study it, and I was just like, yeah, this is not really a movie for me. But my choice, which might be controversial as well, again, because I guess a lot of people consider it to be this amazing classic movie, but is David Fincher's movie Fight Club. So the one with Brad Pitt. I remember watching when I was younger because I felt like I had to, because it was just like considered this classic movie. And as soon as I watched it, I was like, yeah, just was not my kind of movie at all. Like, I mean, obviously by its very name, it's just quite a violent and kind of aggressively masculine movie. And I mean, that didn't resonate with me at all. But there are also these little things in there that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So like, I know that the movie itself is in a way kind of like a satire of fragile masculinity, but there's kind of a lot of misogyny in the movie as well. Like, there was a quote in there which was like, I can't remember what the character says. We're a generation of men raised by women, in an angry way, like as in like, oh, men these days, they're too feminine, is what he's kind of trying to say. And it's just like, oh, like it just, yeah, it's a complete opposite of the kind of movie that I tend to relate to, gravitate towards, or hold up as like a good movie. So yeah, and another thing as well was like the kind of relationship between the main character, and I guess his imagination with Brad Pitt, whatever, and his partner, like his female partner, is quite. I remember being quite toxic and emotionally abusive as well. And then like at the very end of the movie, the final frame, or one of the final frames, is like him and this woman, his partner, holding hands and kind of looking out into the city together. And I feel like that sent a kind of really bad message as well, because it was kind of like he kind of treated her really poorly throughout the whole movie and was quite emotionally abusive. but then it was all worth it at the end because look at them, they're holding hands and they're good again. And I don't know, there's just like these little things in there that I just felt like it was just like a that didn't age well, but b it's just like I just don't know why it's considered such a classic. I mean, probably similar with the one that you were speaking about. I just like, I don't know, you watch these movies and you think, really? Like, is this something that, the majority of people around the world consider to be like one of the top 10 in this instance, films of all time? Like, it's just wild to me. But yeah, have you seen Fight Club?
Oh yes, I've seen Fight Club, and like you, I hate it. I hated it from the very opening scene. Look, it's what you said. It's fragile masculinity. The whole thing. It's toxic masculinity. The movie, right? And I just don't think that we should be given. I don't know. I feel like this whole list this needs to be rewritten, and the fact that we have these problematic movies in there in the top 10 is just not right. By the way, I also don't think Brad Pitt's a really good actor, so
Mm.
the fact that he's in it just doesn't work for me. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, no, I agree. Not a fan of Fight Club. Yeah, it's just completely overrated, and I think maybe it's the aggression that a lot of these voters could relate to that made them vote for this film. But yeah, not for me.
I would absolutely love to see, and I don't know if you can find this data somewhere, but like the demographic. I mean, obviously, I look at MDB and you do, Saj, but I mean, it would be interesting to see like yeah, like a breakdown of like who uses IMDb, not just uses it, but actually like has an account on there and rates movies. Like, because obviously those are the people who contributed to this list. And so, yeah, it'd be really interesting to see like if the overwhelming majority, which I kind of would hypothesize is the case, if the overwhelming majority of the people that actively use IMDb and have accounts are white dudes. Because like, yeah, I really, and I said it earlier, but I really feel like if people more broad cross section of society were surveyed, you'd get quite different results. So yeah, that's why I mean, yeah, actually, I don't know. Just looking at the list, it is very infuriating. I know you said it made you angry earlier. Like, it just feels like so, like, oh, like really, like so much amazing kind of. There are so many amazing films that get made all the time and like get kind of overlooked. I don't get the kind of kudos that they deserve. And then you see this list, and it's just like, oh god, like it's just yeah, it feels very narrow in like what it's trying to show. But anyway, yeah, I'd be curious to what other people think too. But I mean, the people that I speak to, like, as Fight Club is yeah, kind of considered like a quintessential like bro movie, and like you said, I think calling it toxic masculinity the movie is the perfect way to sum it up. Um, but I think that's
Correct.
all the time that we have for now for our bad movies. But to be honest, like as we were saying earlier, like a lot of the movies in the IMDb one could be considered under this list. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for joining us on Bent TV. You've been watching the Film Whisperers, and we'll talk to you next time.